my honor to welcome the President of Finland, the First Lady of Finland, on their visit to Latvia. I should say that for me personally, this is a historic visit, in fact, because this is the first incoming state visit for me as the president, and I'm happy that it is the Finnish president who coincidentally is paying the first state visit. Finland is our close friend and ally, our political, economic, cultural, and I should say also sporting ties are very, very close and very dynamic, and we not only discussed very important security challenges and vital economic cooperation issues, but we also looked back at the Eurobasket competition in Riga. We both went to the Finnish-Greek game, and I can only repeat that the whole Latvia was holding its breath for the Finnish team during the game, and we were very happy to see the fighting spirit that the Finnish squad demonstrated during the competition, during the tournament here in Riga. But undoubtedly, of course, during the meeting we discussed at great length security in the region, security of Ukraine. We also talked about the security of the Baltic Sea region, broader Baltic Sea region, and I should say that President Stubb and I, we highly appreciate the cooperation that we have developed with Finland when it comes to military cooperation since 2023, when Finland acceded to NATO, for example. It has already resulted in some practical activities as well. The security of the Baltic Sea region and Baltic Sentry, which was launched after several incidents with underwater cables, with underwater infrastructure, and Baltic Sentry has proven to be very efficient. I mean, this cooperation when it comes to securing the Baltic Sea. We also discussed the incursion of drones in the Polish airspace as well, and I would like to also specifically underline that NATO has made several steps to create a similar to the Baltic Sentry mission, which is called the Eastern Sentry, and further protection or the security of the eastern flank airspace would require transformation of the Baltic Air Policing mission into Baltic Airspace Defense mission. Not only policing mission. So when it comes to defense cooperation, it's not only focused or built around NATO. We also share defense industry. Patria, for example, which is located in Valmiera, is a good example of close military industrial cooperation with Finland. Tomorrow we'll visit the National Armed Force Training Camp in Liepāja to discuss bilateral and multilateral military cooperation in scope of the Liepāja training camp or base. And last but not least, we discussed at great length the strengthening of the defense capabilities following the decisions taken in the summit in Hague. 5% of GDP on defense spending is a good target, but you don't really sort of use a percentage as a weapon. You need weapons, physical weapons, and this is the area in which we need to develop quite significantly. This year we'll reach 4% of GDP on defense spending. In terms of defense spending, we have a clear path for the progress towards 5% of the GDP, but there are a lot of challenges to overcome on the way towards 5%. We talked about support to Ukraine as well. We discussed political support. We discussed practical support to Ukraine. For example, this year, 42 Patria armored vehicles will be handed over to the armed forces of Ukraine this year. And we also talked about drone coalition, international drone coalition for Ukraine. And on behalf of Latvia, I promised to join the Finnish-led civilian shelter coalition. Because it is not only an additional support to Ukraine, but it is also vital for us to be aware of what our civilian protection infrastructure comprises today and how it needs to be developed in future. We'll learn both from Finland and Ukraine on how to build those shelters, and we will work very closely with Ukraine and Finland in this area. So this is a cooperation which will go both ways. Will not only help the others, but will also receive a lot of assistance and a lot of advice from the others. We also talked about further cooperation in defense and military industry when it comes to air defense systems, anti-drone systems. We talked about economic cooperation in the field of education and culture. Let me leave some of the topics for later conversations and meetings as well, so I won't mention everything that we discussed, but I would like to reiterate that our cooperation on the bilateral level and Nordic-Baltic level, which in fact in recent years has developed as a good format, as a good framework for enhancing political security and economic cooperation, and our cooperation within the European Union and NATO is excellent when it comes to Finland. So usually state visits like these are much more focused on practical issues, on real decisions, and also the symbolic highest level commitment to the friendship and cooperation between countries on all levels in all the possible ways, and also through different ceremonies, which shows that we are close friends. So, Alex, it's over to you. In fact, I do suppose that media are expecting to hear from the Finnish president, my Finnish counterpart, although what I would like to underline, Mr. Stubb is currently very active, playing an active role internationally, supporting Ukraine, working with the American, Ukrainian, and European allies, and these are the efforts that Mr. Stubb will be fully supported by Latvia. So it's over to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Edgars, and thank you for the hospitality that you and your team